Speaking of free agency, there has been this very, very specific and interesting story that's been happening. So,
Mm.
I don't know if you've been paying much attention to this because they're the Warriors and
Oh,
they suck.
John, this is Kuminga, yeah.
Yeah, so Jonathan Kuminga is
Yeah.
essentially in a stalemate with the Golden State Warriors.
Right. Mm.
So let's kind of paint this picture real
Yeah.
quick. Kuminga is essentially a 4-year guy now.
Right.
He's a restricted free agent this year,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been playing. As we said, he came to the Warriors around 2021.
Right.
This is, I believe, the LaMelo Ball draft, if I'm not mistaken.
White when they got
So
Weissman, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's. Oh, actually, no, no. He's the next year after that. So
22, yeah.
yeah, so this is the era we're in um this is the era when the Warriors kind of suck because of injuries.
Yeah.
So we all know how good the Warriors core is. We all know how good they've been at team building.
Mm.
And they said what happened with them is they essentially had a lot of lottery picks
Yep.
because they had a lot of injuries one time, and they eventually got these picks due to the Kevin Durant trade and all that
Right.
stuff. So
Yeah.
they were in a very unique circumstance for a contending team where they had a chance to draft in the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, they drafted second in 2020. In 2020,
Yeah.
as you said, they selected
Weissman.
famously selected James Wiseman
Yep.
instead of LaMelo Ball
Yep.
or Halliburton himself,
Yep.
right? And then in 2021, in this draft, they had the seventh pick, which they used
Right.
to get Jonathan Kuminga.
Kuminga,
And
yeah.
look who's on the board. Look who they skipped Franz Wagner,
Mhm.
right? They skipped
Ooh.
Alperen Şengün.
Ooh.
Those were Jalen Johnson was in that draft.
Right.
There's Isaiah
Ooh.
Jackson was in that
Uh-huh.
draft. Quentin Grimes was in that draft.
Mm.
There's a lot of good prospects that they kind of skipped on because they settled on Jonathan Kuminga,
For Kuminga, yeah.
right? So imagine if it was Wagner. Imagine if it was Alperen Şengün. So
Yeah.
they selected Kuminga and Moses Moody in this
Yeah.
draft.
And most
So they-
gotcha.
Yeah, so they had 2 lottery picks in here, and they
Yeah.
whiffed both. They whiffed them both. They could have gotten Şengün, didn't. But hey, hindsight is a B, right? But
Yeah.
but the thing is, they now are in some very, very horrible stalemate because of that way of thinking. They kind of thought that they could create 2 timelines in their lineup,
Uh,
where they can keep contending with Steph, with Draymond, and develop while developing young players, young lotto
Right.
level players on the side. But look, if we analyze what happened to them, James Wiseman, he's no longer with the Warriors. They cut the
yeah.
cord
they cut it.
really
Yeah,
early.
Yeah. Yeah.
Essentially a bust at number 2.
Yeah.
Right? We can't contest that anymore. As we said, we got Jonathan Kuminga, who's a restricted free agent. He hasn't really been very spectacular for them.
Uh-huh.
He's not a good fit for their system.
No.
Moses Moody, who was picked number 14, hasn't had a lot of playing time. Is essentially a role player for them.
Right.
So instead of developing stars, they have role players really
Yeah.
for the team. They don't have that. They can't execute that 2 timeline thing anymore. Now,
Right.
what's happening is Jonathan Kuminga is due for a contract, but he's not an unrestricted free agent just yet, because what happens in the NBA, as we discussed before, is teams essentially usually have 8 years of control for rookies
Right.
before they become unrestricted. So Kuminga is now eligible for a rookie extension, but as we mentioned, him and the Warriors don't really get along too much
Right.
because
Yeah.
Kuminga feels that he hasn't had ample opportunities to develop while the Warriors think that he hasn't been developing enough for him
Yeah.
to be trusted. So, restricted versus unrestricted free agency. What do you think of the concept, and what do you think about the teams having 8 years of controls for rookies essentially?
It is pretty much. I don't know. I feel like 8 years of control is it's a lot of that's a lot of time for a rookie to to be in that situation 8 years. And I know it's kind of it kind of gives you a little bit of job security, but given that you're a rookie, I mean, I'm just speaking from a player's point of view. You're a rookie, and if you're put in a situation where where this is where you're not gelling with the system, or or you're having some you're having communication issues with your coach, you're not really getting along with your players. That's a lot of time, and it doesn't give them the flexibility to to be able to try to explore other options that that are available with the other teams. So um, granted, yeah, that you have the first 4 years um, on a rookie deal, and then but of course, being a restricted free agent, there's a lot of there's a lot of kind of rules under the CBA that that you have to comply with, or the teams have to comply with. So it's a long it's a long situation for a rookie, especially if you're not think that you're you know the right fit on a team, and that is what Jonathan Kuminga is literally going through right now with the Warriors.
Yeah, yeah, essentially. Because look, the the Warriors don't want him right now. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The Warriors don't want him. Kuminga doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But the problem for Kuminga is he can leave. The only way he can leave is via number one, the Warriors renouncing his rights, which is unlikely. The Warriors signing him and then trading him, which is not advantageous for Kuminga because he doesn't have a choice where to go. The Warriors can trade him right now, which they have had offers. So I think the closest offer that they had was Malik Monk and a lot of second round picks. Basically just going to Sacramento, and Sacramento has promised Kuminga a starting role. Okay, so let's get that in play. And I think Phoenix has also given an offer, Royce O'Neal, and a lot of picks as well.
Right.
But what the Warriors want at this point for Kuminga is not really indicative of what the value he brings to them. Essentially, they want a first round pick that's unprotected. They want to recoup their losses. Essentially, this is kind of like when you're selling some item that you don't want in Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And you try to jack up the price because you don't wanna you hate that you hate that item you're trying to sell, but you still gotta sell it. You don't want to sell at a loss. That's what the Warriors are doing right now.
Right. Yeah.
So look, the other thing, and this is the most unprecedented thing, is because usually when restricted free agency comes along, these guys have a lot of offers on the table.
Yep.
But as we've seen in the NBA right now, with the second apron in play, spending has kind of, it's kind of calmed down.
Yeah.
And not a lot of teams had cap space this year, apart from, I believe, Detroit and Brooklyn. And Brooklyn has their own problem. Brooklyn is dealing with Cam Thomas, who is in the same boat. Basically, basically him and Kuminga are pretty similar in terms of player archetypes. Just volume shooters, volume scorers who don't do anything else, who are inefficient. They're kind of like, I think they're kind of like the new Corey Maggette.
The new Corey Maggette.
Right? It's really
it's a lot of scoring, a lot of penetration, but are you really happy with what you
Exactly. You're not really happy with what you're seeing with him, right?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of points, but it
Right.
doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
But you gotta understand where these players are coming from, and it's just unfortunate that this new CBA has really messed with them so bad. But it is
Yeah.
what it is. That's the
Yeah.
situation.
Hmm.
So Kuminga hasn't had any other outside offers, and that's why he's in this stalemate.
Right.
Now, there is another route that he could take in order to get away from the Warriors, apart from the Warriors renouncing him, which is obviously
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Uh-huh.
There's a thing called the qualifying offer in
Right.
restricted free agency. It's
Yeah.
essentially a dibs kind of
Yeah.
thing, right? So it tells the player that the team you're currently on is first dibs when someone wants to make you an offer,
Right.
because they can match. That's the point of restricted free agency, right? So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, the qualifying offer is only $8 million.
Mm.
So, if you're Jonathan Kuminga, who's looking for a payday and looking for a long-term deal and a big role on another team, is taking $8 million to play in Golden State one more year and go out as an unrestricted free agent next year worth it? Is that a move that he should be taking?
Mm.
Because that's the only move he has. He can either take the qualifying offer or take a horrible offer from the Warriors, because the Warriors have been lowballing. That's
Yeah.
just what it is.
Mm.
The leverage is with the Warriors in a way.
Right.
So should he be taking this qualifying offer and essentially, you know what, I'll punt this year. Next year, I'll hopefully get something else.
Oh. That's tough. That's tough. I wouldn't want to be Kuminga in that situation where you have to deal with a team, a system that kind of doesn't trust you in the first place, doesn't give you opportunities to develop as a player, and how old is Kuminga right now? He's 20
22, I think.
22.
22, something like that. Yeah.
That puts him in a really bad situation because, I mean, and also if you take that qualifying offer, like you mentioned, what other assets can the Warriors get back for $8 million?
Yeah, and that's the interesting
right?
thing, right?
Yeah.
The Warriors probably don't want him to take the qualifying offer,
No,
too.
I don't think so.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. Right? This stalemate is so funny because Kuminga is getting lowballed, but at the same time, the Warriors can't afford him to take a qualifying offer, because if he does that, his trade value is $8 million. You're not going to get anybody for $8 million
No one,
that
yeah.
can contribute to your team.
Yeah.
This is what it is. So I think it's in everyone's best interest to kind of just get this sorted out, because this is holding up all the other free agent decisions in the Warriors.
Right.
I don't know if you've noticed, but they haven't really made. They're the only team in the NBA
That hasn't made any
who hasn't
moves.
made any move this
Yeah.
season. Nothing, zero.
Yeah.
You have Al Horford is still on the board. You have the Anthony Melton still on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Payton II still on the board. All because they're waiting on what happens to Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And this is the first domino in the Warriors offseason, really.
Mm-hmm.
Once Kuminga is sorted out, then they're probably gonna get Horford. They're probably gonna get Melton and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But again, as we mentioned, they're playing chicken right now. Both of them are playing chicken with
Both
each
of
other. Kuminga can't afford to take the qualifying offer because, as you mentioned, an ACL tear essentially is catastrophic for him.
Yeah.
He's going to lose tens and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
And the Warriors are more inclined to get him back on a very decent deal because they want to get more value for him. So,
Yeah.
like, this is going to be an interesting scenario.
Yeah.
I personally want to see Kuminga just take the qualifying offer just for the
Right.
chaos involved.
For the chaos.
Right? You just want to see how everyone scrambles after
Oh,
that.
man.
But let's see what happens in the